and drinks. The atmosphere, electric. The staff, legendary. The screens, everywhere. This season, don't just watch football. Experience it. NFL Sunday Ticket is back, baby. Murphy's Pub and Grill, your new football headquarters. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com.
The new Mr. Liquor 2 in Rapid City is the only place in western South Dakota where you can order an ice-cold brew in the adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. This month's wine specials include $2.50 off all Decoy Limited wines. Your choice, $22.49. Black Box 3-liter wines now only $17.49. Or save $2 off every bottle of butternut wines, specially priced at just $9.99. The new Mr. Liquor 2, off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See anytime.com, and as always at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are a little more than an inning away from clinching the NL West. Shohei Ohtani, home run number 54 on the season. Dodgers leading the Diamondbacks 8-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning in Arizona. The loss could be very damaging for the Snakes. They're currently a game back of the Mets for the final wild card in the National League. The Reds right now are a half game back entering play tonight after Cincinnati topped the Pirates today 2-1, while the Astros are routing the A's 10-1 in the 7th. That would pull Houston to within a half game of Detroit for the final wild card in the American League. Ryder Cup gets underway tomorrow at 7:10 Eastern Time as Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas are the first of 4 American pairings to go out in the foursomes matches. They'll face John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton. Later on in the morning, it's Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood for Europe against Colin Morikawa and Harris English. Jaden Daniels limited in practice today for the Commanders, while Jets quarterback Justin Fields practiced, but he has yet to clear concussion protocol. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Good Thursday afternoon. How are you today? South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back and ready. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, the Nate Brown Show. It is always a great day in South Dakota. Let's have some fun, thought-provoking sports talk from South Dakota and beyond tonight. 2 hours, really good stuff tonight. We'll talk some Jacks. Matt Zimmer's going to drop by. We'll get some picks for the weekend, college and NFL. Lee Sterling's going to pop in, handicapper, Paramount Sports. It is Thursday. That means happy hour in the second hour with Rob Kegron, national radio host, New York City's finest. Rob Kegron live in our second hour tonight. So we are packed on a Thursday. Thanks for making this show possible. We count on you and our sponsors and our listeners, and thank you for making us a part of your day. The Nate Brown Show also streaming on X at Nate Brown Show. So find us there on your phone. Watch us live every afternoon on X at Nate Brown Show, wherever you're at. Also YouTube, The Nate Brown Show is the channel. Subscribe. It's free. It's easy. Subscribe, The Nate Brown Show. If you're a YouTube person, you've got us there live and archived. And finally, Midwest Sports Plus. This show is streaming live right now on the new app, South Dakota High School Sports app, Midwest Sports Plus. If you don't have it, check it out. And this show live there. All right, Thursday looks good. We'll get Zimmer on here shortly, and we'll get popping. Let's get you on if you want in. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Also in Brandon, great location there. 2 locations in Rapid City. That's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet by far, the Fun Zone Arcade. It's good stuff. Take the family to the Pizza Ranch, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Also, Barron's Wilson text line is open. Text the show directly, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson Lister text line specifically for you. Text us there, 605-720-1067. All right, a lot to cover tonight. A lot of stuff to get to tonight. I want to start with a conversation I had today. I didn't know I was going to talk about this on the show today, but I had a conversation with a good sports guy. This highly respected sports guy. He knows what he's talking about. We were talking about a bunch of stuff, but really what came up, and I was asking him about this. I'm a sports parent like many of you. I'm a high school sports parent. I'm a youth sports parent. So many of you are there, or you're going to be there, or you have been there, done that. And the changing landscape of high school sports and recruiting, college opportunities, and everybody's out for the scholarship, and now the big-time NIL, and where do we find our fit? So I had this conversation today, and I said, I didn't plan on bringing this into the show, but it's really interesting, too interesting not to discuss it with you. I think a lot of you have a vested interest in this topic. We got on this, a smart sports guy. I'm not going to out him. He's a highly respected. I respect his opinion on this stuff. He's been there, done that, from the athletic side to the coaching side, the whole thing. So I was asking him, we were getting into how recruiting for high school kids is changing right here, right now. Opportunities for high school athletes changing right here, right now. He's telling me it's not like there's no opportunities, but with the way college sports is going and has gone, the opportunities for new recruits out of high school is getting fewer. It is getting fewer, and this is because the transfer portal allows for older kids that have been there and experienced and have game experience and have maturity in the whole thing. The older kids get to transfer, and so coaches these days are doing what? They're not going to pick up everybody out of high school anymore because they said, well, why would I take a risk? Why would I go down that road? Development, I have to wait for this kid to get strong and mature and older and the whole thing. There still is opportunities for high school kids. I don't want to get this twisted here. But this conversation, this guy's right in the middle of it. And he said it is just lowered the numbers with spots available. And there's still all of these players that still want to get spots. All of these high school kids still want to get spots. And so we got into how does recruiting go, and how do parents and athletes navigate this, and how do they actually know the facts that there's less spots available because mature players that are transferring year in, year out, and coaches are relying on, well, we can build our roster with the real deal guys now. We don't have to take a risk on a high school kid that maybe is a late bloomer. He's got some talent. She's got some talent. Maybe coming along later. They need to win now. The college coaches will say this. They need to win now, and so they're going to get players that have been in programs. So where does that leave high school kids in South Dakota? So this is interesting. That was part of our conversation today, saying recruiting has changed. Parents need to know this. So how do you go about becoming an elite athlete, a college athlete, if your player wants to be that, if your kid can be that? And so it's interesting. I said, hey, there's this debate out there. I saw this debate. Should parents get involved in their recruitment of their son or daughter? Should parents get involved? And what I meant by that is, do you think, this is our question of the day tonight as we get going, should parents be able to email a college coach today, hey, it's tough out there in the recruiting landscape. You got to get on their radar. You got to get in front of them. You got to put your name out there. You got to advocate. That's what people say. Should parents email a college coach on behalf of their son or daughter, hey, this is so-and-so. We got this opportunity, and we would love for you to take a look. Here's our huddle link, and here's our highlight package. Would you think that would be okay? I'm going to tell you what our conversation today with this sports guy was about. I'm going to tell you his answer coming up. But I did better than this today. I did some research on the Nate Brown Show. I did some journalism today. I sent a message to 4 college coaches. These were head coaches, okay? I got them right here on the text, on my phone. I sent a message to college coaches because I wanted to find out after my conversation today, how involved are people in the recruitment of their kids? How involved is this? Are parents emailing coaches and saying, hey, just want to give you a heads up, this and this, we have an interest in this, and here's a link, and you can watch my son and daughter in this? Are parents doing that? Should parents do that? That's my question of the day, by the way. 605-720-1067. I sent a message to 4 coaches. 2 basketball, 2 football. That's what I'll tell you, okay? 2 basketball, 2 football. And these were the levels, Division I and Division II. Division I and Division II. I asked them, have you received many emails from parents about their kids' recruitment? Have you received many emails from parents about their kids' recruitment? What did all 4 of them say? Yes. They said a lot more. The 4 coaches, this is from D1 to D2, football to basketball. They said, yes, we have. My second question, I didn't want to take up their whole day for the Nate Brown Show. My second question, did you take these serious? Did you take a second look at these kids? That was my second question. Did you take a look when the parents sent the email at these kids? And I'm going to tell you this. There was varied responses from this. Here's the common theme of that second question, the answer. They did not hold it against those kids, but they rarely took a look when those emails came in. You see what I'm saying? They did not hold it against if, hey, they had this kid on the radar, they got an email from a parent. They're not going to say, oh, that's a red flag. You're out. I don't want that. Maybe some of them did. The coaches I did. These are coaches from South Dakota. D1 to D2, football and basketball. But they did say, what's the number one thing that they paid attention to? When the players reached out themselves or when other coaches reached out for the player. So, moral of the story tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Moral of the story. You can answer the question of the day. Should parents email coaches about their kids for college recruiting? You can answer that. Yes, you have to get on their radar. You have to be bold, or no, it's not going to help. The moral of the story was it did not help with the coaches I talked to. I talked to 4. Football and basketball. 2 football, 2 basketball. I talked to 4 coaches. They told me it did not help. They did not say it hurt the kid on now they're out. They did not say that. The number one thing I think people have to remember in this landscape, yes, you got to be on the radar. Yes, you got to be kind of marketing yourself. You got to use services. I think you got to get in that game. You can't have mom and dad. Here's an email. Watch Jimmy Lipper. He's really good. You have too much of a vested interest. The coaches know this. I mean, we're used to sending emails to coaches in high school, and we say, what about this? What about that? Everybody gets so out there. They get on their phones and keyboard. They can send messages to coaches. What about this? What about that? And now we're having mom and dad send emails to Division I coaches. Division I coaches. I got one right here. He said, I get numerous emails and calls. This said Division I coach. I get numerous emails and calls from parents about their kids. It's one thing. We want to do what's best for the kids. I have kids. We want to try and help them out. You're trying to, hey, you got to do this. Let's see if we can make some connections. It's about relationships. And you know the whole story, right? We can't go down that road. And by the way, the smart sports guy I had a conversation with today. He said, you can't be emailing coaches. You just can't email coaches. What's your answer to the question of the day? Let's see what we say here before Brown's Best tonight. Our high school football picks. Do you think it's okay for a parent to send some emails to college coaches to advocate for their son or daughter's recruitment? Question of the day. I already gave you my answer, and I did a little research with some coaches to see what they said today. They all said they get messages from parents. It does not help. They talk to coaches. They want to hear from the players. Then they dig into the player. The message from mom and dad sounds like it can only maybe sometimes backfire, actually. Nobody said it was like a terrible red flag, but 66% of you are answering tonight. Don't send the email if you're a parent to a college coach. 66% say it won't help. 34%, 1 in 3, 34% say yes. Get on their radar. Send the email. 1 in 3 say send the email. All 4 of my college coaches I messaged today, not a huge fan of the parent email. Let's get going tonight. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks. It's high school football, man. High school football, another week is upon us. My record is in good shape. I'm ahead, right?
Yes, you're 12-3. I'm 10-5.
So not bad. 12-3, 10-5. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, our high school football picks. Let's do 11 AAA. The best game in 11 AAA, I think, is O'Gorman Jefferson. I think. There's not a lot of great matchups. I don't think this is outstanding matchup because I think Jefferson's better. O'Gorman's going to have a hard time scoring. I'm going to go Jefferson. It's their homecoming. Jefferson 34, O'Gorman 14.
I'm going to be with you on this one. I'm taking Jefferson over O'Gorman. So give me the Cavaliers 28, O'Gorman 17.
Jefferson trying to bounce back after the loss from Sioux Falls Lincoln. We're on the same page there. Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks. Let's get into 11 AA. 2 good games here. Yankton is hosting Pierre. Yankton got pounded by Harrisburg. Just pounded. I think they're still the best team in 11 AA. I think it's tight, but I think they're the best. 21-7, the Bucks over the Govs.
So do we know how Pierre is doing against Yankton since 2020?
Since 2020. I'm going to say they beat them almost every year.
So they're 7-1, the Govs, against the Bucks.
Okay.
7-1. Pierre, I don't know. Everyone thought that Pierre was going to be the team again this season. And of course, in Class 11 AA, it's, who knows? It's a different team each week. But give me Yankton over Pierre. I'm sorry, Governors. Yankton 28, Pierre 13.
11 AA has another matchup. How good is Spearfish? They got to go to Huron. Huron's had some big wins the last few weeks. Huron is on a roll. They just went to Sturgis and beat the Scoopers on homecoming. Now Huron gets their own home game. It's tight. Matt Kearney, get ready. It's tight. I thought Spearfish might get him. I'm not going to give it to him. I'm going to go Huron 22, Spearfish 20, down to the last play.
You know, this reminds me of that SpongeBob meme, the old guy. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And Spearfish, don't tell me you're going to do it again. Don't tell me.
I'm going back to the well again. I'm going back to the well. This time it's a closer game. Give me Spearfish 14, Huron 13. And there's going to be fireworks in Huron with the Spearfish win.
Okay, I remember winning already with T-Area over Spearfish, so easy. I got you there.
Easy.
And I'm going to get you with Huron this week.
Easy.
Okay, you go with the Spartans. He just can't help himself. The game of the week, it is in 11A. Number 1 against number 2. Sioux Falls Christian at Madison. I think the Chargers, by all accounts, are just too much. Madison's good. They got a younger QB. They're good. Not good enough. Sioux Falls Christian, kind of easy. 35-14.
So both teams are undefeated. Back Last year, Sioux Falls Christian won against Madison 42-0. They blanked the Bulldogs last year. This year, it's going to be Sioux Falls Christian again, but it's not going to be that type of score, but it's going to be similar. Give me Sioux Falls Christian 35, Madison 7.
Last game of the week, it's Brown's Best, Kearney's Picks, high school football predictions every Thursday. We're going to go 11B. We're looking at 9-man. There, again, not a lot of huge matchups. There's a lot of top-heavy stuff in 9-man. So we're going to go 11B, Battle of Unbeatens, and 11B. Wagner at Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central. Wagner is going to win 21-6. I looked at their common opponents. They both have beaten Winter. So it's like, well, they both beat Winter. Wagner's a little bit better. Give me Wagner 21-6 to stay undefeated.
So looking at both teams and how they're scoring here, Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central, they've scored 118 to 28 against their opponents. Wagner, however, 183-81. And I looked at the common opponents too. Wagner, they're the dark horse in 11B. They're one of the top teams in there. Woonsocket, Western Springs, Sanborn Central. I feel like they can be up there, but for this matchup, I'm going to go with the Red Raiders, though. So give me Wagner over Woonsocket, Western Springs, Sanborn Central, 21-16.
Now you know it's serious. We picked the same games outside of his hometown, Spearfish Spartans, and he's just got a homer that one. So we got the same games. I'm taking Huron. He's taking the Spartans. Brown's Best, 5 games in the books. Kearney's Picks. Find us on social media. Keep us accountable. Kearney's trying to catch up. Brown's Best in the books, and we'll go to Matt Zimmer, sports writer, Sioux Falls Live, coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hey, it's Nate Brown for Atomic Wings, 2 locations in Sioux Falls. You don't need to keep going to the mediocre wing places with too much breading and wings that don't have any meat. Atomic Wings is different. I know firsthand. Their boneless wings are made with fresh chicken right there. The best wings I've had. 15 unique flavors to choose from sweet to heat. Huge traditional wings, fresh boneless wings for game day, lunch, or dinner. 2 locations in Sioux Falls. Just order at atomicwings.com. Atomicwings.com.
If you're on the hunt for deals, now's the time to save at Fleet Farm. Wild game favorites like a 12-pound Trophy Rock Mineral Lick is just $9.99. Wildlife Research Scent Killer Spray Combo is just $9.99 after $5 rebate. And save 20% on all Huntworth hunting apparel and accessories now through October 8th. Check out all our hunting gear and accessories, all at the best prices guaranteed at your local Fleet Farm. And see the rest of our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
Imagine this. A bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 54. Tonight, under clear skies, winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. High of 84 tomorrow. Tomorrow night, lows level off around 50. Ample sunshine and dry Saturday and Sunday, upper 70s, Saturday, upper 80s by Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports.
Western South Dakota's largest selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs is at Danny Menho Rapid Chevrolet. Over 350 to choose from. GMC, Ram, Ford, Jeep, imports, Chevys, GM certified pre-owned, 24 different manufacturers, all with Danny Menho discounts. If you want it, we have it, or our friendly staff will find it for you. Buyers on site offering top dollar for all trades. Financing available on the spot and all credit applications accepted. See us at Danny Menho Rapid Chevrolet or DannyMenhoRapidChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Football is on, and your place for all the action is at the BetMGM Sportsbook in Dinwiddie Gaming Resort.
And he's got a touchdown!
Don't miss a second of your favorite matchups with wall-to-wall television arrays and personalized audio technology.
Touchdown! Denver!
Now offering live betting so you can keep your luck rolling while the game is still going. Grab a lounge chair or pull up to a table and order off a full menu of food and drinks from Patty O'Neill's. BetMGM at 10 Lizzie is the #1 sportsbook in Deadwood, where it's always game on.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome in. We're just getting started on your drive home this Thursday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is live. Coming up Thursday happy hour with Rob Kegron, national radio host. What a career, Rob Kegron. Now he joins the Nate Brown Show weekly. It's elevated his career, right? He used to just be a national radio host out of New York City. Now he's on the Nate Brown Show. It's big time, Rob. Come on. Rob Kegron's coming in, guest host every Thursday, coming up. Lot to shoot around there. Hey, Matt Zimmer's on tonight. Appreciate his time. Sports writer, covers the Jacks and more at SiouxFallsLive.com. SiouxFallsLive.com. I go there a lot. Good work from Matt Zimmer. He's on X at Matt J. Zimmer. Matt, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
I'm good. So I saw you were doing some work today. And while you were doing work, you were watching like 90s movies. Is that helpful to you?
It usually is, yeah. I find that, when you work from home, which I have for basically my entire adult life, aside from when I'm covering games, it can't be too quiet, I can't get anything done if it's just total silence. But, like, having certain things on TV or in the background can be distracting, so I've kind of found the sweet spot is just sort of putting a movie on that I can kind of ignore.
Yes.
So today I put a Tango and Cash on, which I've seen a million times, and I just kind of forgot how good it was. And then when it got over, it just automatically started playing Nowhere to Run, a terrible Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And I just got to the end of them, and I was like, man, they don't make these anymore. I kind of miss them.
That's good stuff.
Good way to get through a day.
That's not bad. I mean, it's better than the news. I will tell you that. Okay.
Yeah.
I know that. Matt Zimmer on tonight. So I got to get into this with you. South Dakota State's playing Mercyhurst. And I did a segment last night, and I said, hey, Mercyhurst lost to Montana State 17-0. They were competitive with Youngstown State. But I'm not falling into this. South Dakota State has to dominate this Saturday. Am I wrong?
I'll be surprised if they don't. They're coming off a bye week, and they're also coming off the worst of their 3 games that they've played so far. I don't want to say that they completely laid an egg against Drake, but only winning by a couple scores and kind of letting them hang around. You could tell that the players weren't very happy with how they played, and some of the coaches have even admitted in a couple days since that, that wasn't the best representation of us. So you have a game where you're not very happy with how you play. Then you have a bye week to sort of stew over it and work on those things and get better and get healthier. Meanwhile, Mercyhurst, has had a couple physical, taxing games where they probably had to scratch and claw just to hang with Sacramento State and Montana State. So I think people are correct to give Mercyhurst some credit, that they have been competitive against teams you wouldn't expect them to be competitive against. But I certainly don't think that's any reason to think they're going to walk into Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium and beat the Jags or even really threaten to beat the Jags.
I just saw this on FanDuel, the early line. South Dakota State, 34.5. That's a big number.
I would have probably guessed 24, but I guess, that tells me that the odds makers see it the same way that I do.
Okay, let's get into this other one. North Dakota State, Fargo Dome, USD 21.5-point underdogs. Is USD a ways off from North Dakota State, or can USD find some magic like they've had in these games?
Well, I think we're going to find out, and that's not to dodge your question, but, USD didn't look very good the first few games, and, in a season where you come into it with national championship aspirations and everyone from their coaches to their players to their fans are talking about, we're ready, we've arrived, we're on the same, we belong at the table with NDSU and SDSU, and then 3 weeks in, they're 1-2 and not looking so great, and they to their credit they bounced back and they beat Drake a heck of a lot more convincingly than the Jacks did, but it's hard to say that they've quote unquote fixed all their issues when they did it against a non-scholarship team. Obviously NDSU is going to be a huge ramp up in difficulty there, so I think this is a big test for USD. If you want to see it from a glass half full standpoint from the USD side, you're going to go, hey, the last 2 weeks we beat a Northern Colorado team that's better than they usually are. We beat a Drake team soundly that had just given the Jacks a game. We're back. We fixed our problems. We're ready to go here. The season is starting for us now. But on the flip side of it, they already have 2 losses. You lose the NDSU and you got 3 losses, and all of a sudden your playoff hopes are starting to come into question. So we're going to find out, and that doesn't mean that if they lose, their season's over. But, if they go up there and get spanked, it's going to be hard to take them serious as a national championship contender after that.
How different of a team is this USD team up front? That's where they were able to compete, I think, with NDSU when they did last year. How different are they now up front? That's what I'm thinking is like, man, NDSU always good up front, and USD lost a lot there on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4 out of 5 new guys. So to answer your question literally, it's very different. It's 80% different. Now, Travis Johansson had said a couple times throughout the offseason and into the preseason that, hey, we reloaded with some talent. We went in the portal and got some guys that we really like. But I think, not that this is news to anyone, but it's tough to gel an offensive line together when everyone's new. Offensive line is unlike any other position group in football in that it's almost like a basketball team. You have 5 guys that all have to play together. They have to be connected, and that doesn't just happen overnight. And it's probably fair to say that not that these offensive linemen that they brought in aren't as good as the guys they replaced, but just you can't just throw them in there and expect them to be in midseason form right away. And that might explain why they struggled those first few weeks. And it also might explain why they're getting better the last couple, that they're starting to develop that cohesion and chemistry and starting to get that connectivity. I think the good news from USD's standpoint is that, gives the opportunity for them to continue to grow, to continue to get better. Maybe they're not able to beat North Dakota State this Saturday in Fargo, but maybe if they keep improving, keep steadily building on what they're trying to do, maybe they're ready to beat them in November and December. So that's obviously a big question mark, and I think one of the reasons you can say, like people have asked, well, SDSU has 60 new guys too. How come they're 3-0? Well, they did have 3 starters returning on the offensive line. So maybe that was one area where it was easier for them to kind of rebuild on the fly because they didn't have to rebuild their offensive line the same way USD did. So this week would be a good chance to find out again, how quickly they're starting to improve and develop that unit.
USD at Fargo taking on the Bison. Yotes 21.5-point underdogs in the early line that just came out. Matt Zimmer's on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com for the best coverage when it comes to South Dakota sports. So back to SDSU here. The Jacks, did you feel like Dan Jackson wasn't very happy going into that bye week here? What do you feel like he's thinking? They've gotten some nice wins, but I feel like he's like, man, we're not where we need to be.
I wouldn't say that. He kind of pushed back a little bit at me and some others, suggesting that the win over Drake wasn't very good. But like I said, there were some players and some other coaches who admitted as much. I think sometimes a head coach just wants to be the only one who can say his team didn't play well. You know what I mean? Like, I can say it, but you can't. I think there's a little bit of that going on. But at the same time, I think Dan's also trying to look at it from a big picture standpoint. It's just one game, and maybe they didn't play great. Maybe they weren't perfect, but they still won. And the first 2 games were against really good opponents, ranked teams, including a trip to number 3 Montana State, and they won those games. The bottom line is they're 3-0. And when we looked at that schedule back in July or August, you're like, geez, they could be 1-2 coming out of those first 3 games. Instead, they're sitting here at 3-0. So if you're Dan Jackson, are you going to be more worried about the fact that you weren't awesome against Drake, or are you going to be more happy that you're 3-0 with 2 really good wins on your resume already. I think clearly it's the latter. And, he didn't beat around the bush as far as there's a lot to work on going into that bye week. And there's still a lot of things where they're close, but they're not there yet. And, specifically, they've been terrible on third downs. They haven't been great in the red zone. They've lacked explosive plays on offense. The kicking game has been really inconsistent. The defense, as great as it was in the first 2 games, clearly took a step back in the third. So any coach will tell you the best place you can be in is where you're winning games but still not reaching your potential. You still have things to coach. You still have things to force your team to work on that you can sort of crack the whip every day in practice, keep showing them things on film. But it's a lot easier to do those things when you're winning, when you're undefeated, than when you're coming off a loss, and that's where they're at right now.
Has Chase Mason met your expectations for the type of player he can be or not yet?
I would say he's exceeded my expectations, and I still think he's going to get better. I was kind of wondering, I wouldn't say expecting, but I was kind of wondering if he would come out the first few weeks and you'd see a whole bunch of explosive highlight reel, whoa, did you see that sort of plays? But then maybe you'd see some turnovers, you'd see some unnecessary risks, you'd see sort of the gunslinger stuff, or maybe he's putting his head down and trying to run through a defensive end instead of running out of bounds or sliding, all that kind of stuff that we saw flashes of when he was the backup and sort of that Swiss Army knife. It's almost kind of been the opposite. He's played pretty conservative. He has been a threat on the ground. He's been a dual threat. He's been able to unleash it. I mean, you see the arm strength. The arm talent is clearly there. He makes throws that nobody that's ever played at South Dakota State can make. I would not be surprised if there are NFL scouts already drooling over what they've seen Chase flash from just an ability, a talent standpoint. But I've been really impressed with how no turnovers, he's not taking big risks, he's going through his progressions. You can tell he's still kind of taking baby steps a little bit. There's still so much room for improvement, and I think that's exactly what they wanted. When I talked to Eric Eidsmith, their offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, in the offseason after spring ball, he said, hey, Chase has played a lot of football, but it's been years since he's done it. And so we're going back to square one and kind of taking everything, not taking anything for granted, and trying to make sure every little single step is accounted for. And it sure looks like that's working because, like I said, he's producing, he's not making mistakes, he's making good decisions, but there's still obviously a ton of room for more explosive plays, more production. I think it's been pretty close to a best-case scenario how he's played in those first 3 games.
Okay, Matt Zimmer, you cover college sports. You talk to these coaches. I have a question of the day. I had a sports conversation with a respected sports guy here in the state today. We're talking recruiting, how the landscape has changed. He told me there's less spots for high school kids now. There's spots, but there's less because coaches are getting experienced guys in basketball and transfer portal. And then I said, well, what can recruits do to get on the coach's radar? And I threw this out. People are debating this. I want to know, 2025, our culture. Can parents email college coaches about their son or daughter? Do you believe these coaches that you cover get parent emails?
I'm sure that happens. I know for a fact it happens. I've had coaches tell me before that parents have reached out or kids reach. I mean, today with the internet, there's no stone that certain people won't leave unturned to try to give an opportunity. I mean, you probably get DMs on Twitter from athletes trying to get exposure. I get them all the time. Yeah. I'm always like, what do you want me to do with this? I don't work for the team. You know, I mean, kids out there are desperate to get seen, and they're on social media. They'll buy the check mark from Elon to try to get more exposure. They'll send stuff to a coach. They'll reply to his tweets, go Jacks or whatever, with their highlight tape. I don't want to say a name, but I got an email a couple years ago from a former NFL player who was like, hey, do you know the Jacks coach? Because I'm trying to get my kid recruited by him. Can you put in a good word for me? Stuff like that happens all the time. And I don't think that's a great suggestion if you're a parent. I don't know. I would recommend that you do that. But, it's hard to say. If you're good enough, coaches want to hear from you. They're going to try to find you. And if you stink, coaches are going to be like, leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you.
I asked 4 coaches today, D1 and D2. I sent messages to 4 coaches. I said, do you get parent emails about their son or daughter? And then do you take those seriously? They all said they get them. And then they all said, I don't really put stock into them. So
Right.
That there's kind of an answer of they said it's not like a red flag. They're not saying they disqualify it. They're saying they do a lot more work than getting an email from dad and mom when it comes to the recruit.
Let's put it this way: if dad and mom send the email and attach a video, or some highlights that they can watch and say, "Oh, yeah, he's a dude," then they're probably going to take it seriously. If it's just dad saying, "My son's awesome. He threw for this many yards and he runs this in the 40 and he can bench this much," yeah, sure.
It's interesting. Pretty interesting out there. The guy I met with today said, do not send emails to college coaches if you're a parent. You need to work with a coach on that. You need to work with some other source, a third party on that. Interesting landscape on the recruiting side.
Generally, your high school coach will have a pretty good gauge of what level you can be recruited at. If your high school coach tells you you're a Division II coach and you're getting letters from nothing but Division II, you're a Division II player, and you're getting letters from nothing but Division II coaches, that tells you who you are. When I played high school baseball, all I got letters from was NAIA baseball coaches. I took the hint. I didn't end up playing college baseball.
I got you. By the way, who would you vote for? You mentioned baseball. Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge, MVP.
I got to go with Judge. I just think he's been better all around. 60 home runs is 60 home runs, especially from a catcher. But I just think Judge is the best player in the American League.
Matt Zimmer, good stuff. SiouxFallsLive.com for his coverage. The Jackson, Mercyhurst, USD, and NDSU this weekend. Matt, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. SiouxFallsLive.com sports writer Matt Zimmer on tonight, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Let's go get some picks from Lee Sterling. College football, NFL. He's got 5 games. He's going to give them out from Paramount Sports next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Life changes fast.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on, and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Builder Event Center. 3 days of non-stop basketball action as teams battle it out for bragging rights and glory. Divisions for boys and girls, grades 5th through 10th. Bring your game, bring your team, and bring the energy. And when the game's over, celebrate with special Courtyard by Marriott room rates that include Watiki Water Park passes for even more fun. Don't sit on the sidelines. Register your team today at thebox.live.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, let's get rocking tonight, man. It's time to do it every Thursday on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota on Fox Sports Radio. We got Lee Sterling. Time to get some picks. Let's have a week this week. ParamountSports.com. It is Lee Sterling back on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. College football, NFL, some good ones this week. Lee, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. I'm real good. So excited to get going. This might be the best combined weekend. You know, we had that week one. I mean, it was loaded, but this week, I mean, the late afternoon and the evening games, you might need 4 or 5 TVs for all these great games. Yes. And then in the NFL, not too shabby. You got Philly and Tampa, 2 undefeated 3-0 teams. Baltimore and KC, 2 1-2 teams. Might be the best 1-2 teams in the last decade. And then, to top it off, you got Micah Parsons returning to Dallas at the scene of the crime.
I love it. Really big weekend. By the way, you're in Miami. What do you think of Miami Hurricanes? I'm being told by college football guys, these guys are going to run through the ACC.
I think if they get by Florida State, there is a good chance they can go undefeated. What's crazy though is, you know, you got Georgia Tech. They don't have to face really anyone the rest of the way except for Georgia. And Miami, if they get by Florida State, it's really, they have a bye, and then Louisville, and then it's, you know, it's a bunch of mediocre and a bunch of cream puffs. So could set up an undefeated Georgia Tech in Miami, but it's a long way away. Probably maybe the biggest game last week was Memphis. I mean, that game could catapult them into the college football playoffs.
Lee Sterling, here we go. Let's get into the games. We're in Big Ten country. You're going to go with this one. Iowa, Indiana, that's our first game. Indiana blows out Illinois. I didn't see it coming. You didn't see that coming. What do you think of Indiana now? 7.5 over Iowa.
And I am 10 minutes from the home of Miami Christopher Columbus High School, where Fernando Mendoza played. And he was fine in high school. I mean, no one was running after this guy. There's like 5 or 6 guys on his team that recruiters wanted. He ends up going to Cal. He's obviously in the right system. Right now, they look even better than last year. But Iowa's defense is really good. Iowa's defense, if you don't get 4 or 5 yards on first down, you're going to be in trouble here. And the offense, I mean, playing much better. I mean, they ranked 24th in points scored, 20th in yards per play. I just think that also special teams is going to be a factor in this game and home field. So Indiana's look incredible. Maybe the best team in college football, but they haven't played anyone. And I think they just caught Illinois at the right time for Illinois, wrong time for Illinois. I like Indiana to somehow come out victorious, 26-24. But I'm picking Iowa, 7.5 points.
You're going to take the points with the Hawkeyes, 7.5. Lee Sterling, let's go Ohio State, Washington. So Ohio State's number 1 ranked team in the country. Are they elite? They're favored by 8.5.
Well, I will say this, tough place to play. I've been there before when Miami lost in 2000. It's loud and tough trip, but it can be navigated. I think that Washington's a year away. Damon Williams, if he finds a way to win this game, and he is really good running and throwing the football, he would get my vote because John Mateer is pretty much out of it now. So he does have a great receiver in Denzel Boston. really good running back, maybe top 5 running back in Jonah Coleman. But other than that, I think their offensive line is pedestrian. I think their defense, except for their top 2 corners, they got 2 rangy, real big guys that can really cover the field well. But problem is, Ohio State, they've got 3 incredible receivers, maybe the best trio in Smith, Ennis, and Tate. So I thought Julian Sayin was incredible first week. He just had drops left and right. So this is a tough matchup here for Washington. And their defense, they give up 21 and 24 points to Colorado State and Washington State before they pulled away late. I think Ohio State's the right side here. They pull away 35-24.
Okay, 35-24. Pretty good game. You'll take Ohio State and the line. Big one. It's the whiteout game, State College. This is the one, Lee, Penn State always needs to have. This is the big one.
Yep.
Can they get it done against Oregon, the Nittany Lions, by 3.5?
Well, I wouldn't take them if this game was on the road, but it is at home. It's going to be a whiteout. Last year's Oregon team, they might pull it off. This year's team, I have some doubts about them. They're young. Their quarterback, Dante Moore, is talented and dynamic. But, I mean, the toughest road game he's played in has been Northwestern, in front of maybe 15,000 people on campus. Their run defense, 50th in the country here. In the game last year, in the Big Ten Championship that Oregon won 45-37, Penn State still ran for 292 yards. They just had no passing game. So both running backs are back, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. They added 2 top-end transfer receivers in Trevor Pena from Syracuse and K-Ron Hudson from USC. These 2 guys have put together combined 27 total catches on the year. And the X factor in this game is Jim Knowles. If you don't know that name, he's the new Penn State defensive coordinator. Last year, he's at Ohio State. Second game, they played in the college football playoffs. He put the clamps down on the Ducks. He had an incredible, brand new, totally different blitz package from the first game. I think that his defense here, they're 12th right now in pressure rate. I think they get the job done. Penn State at home. James Franklin gets carried off the field in a whiteout, 24-17.
Okay, covering the number. You're going Penn State. Lee Sterling on ParamountSports.com. NFL, 2 games. Let's start with Ravens, Chiefs. They need a win, both of them. Ravens by 2.5. Somebody's going to go to 1-3 here.
Yeah, last year, first game of the year, KC is favored by 2.5. So now, 1 year later, are you telling me that the Ravens have improved and Kansas City's regressed a total of 5 points? I don't know about that. So I love Baltimore's offense, but their defense played Monday night, played way too many plays. In fact, with 6 minutes remaining in the first half on Monday night, Baltimore's offense had only been on the field for 5 minutes in that game. So I think KC's coming around. Their offensive line only allowed 2 sacks in the game against the Giants. Giants have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. So I think they're starting to put it together here. I'm taking the 2.5, Kansas City at home. They pull off the upset here, 24-20.
Okay, you're going upset. You're going Chiefs money line to beat the Ravens. Chiefs underdogs at home. Broncos, they need a win. Bengals didn't look good. Broncos 7.5 from Monday night.
Yeah, and Cincinnati. I mean, the Bengals are 2-1, tied for first. Well, that's not bad, is it? Wait, they played they're 2 plays away from being 0-3. Denver, 2 or 3 plays away from being 3-0.
Yeah.
You're looking at this line, you're saying 7.5. That might be too much, but Cincinnati came big time on the road against a good defense of Minnesota. They're back on the road against another good defense of Denver. I think the Broncos are ticked off big time. They have revenge for an overtime loss last year at Cincinnati. I think they're going to finally put it together. They have not played even close to their best game here. Denver, I think they get the job done here, 30-17.
All right, you've got a game of the week, Lee Sterling. This is the one you give to the listeners. The one you got your eye on is Big Ten, Minnesota, the Gophers against Rutgers.
Yep. And most people look at this game and they'll be like, oh, this is probably a pretty even game between these two teams. I don't know which way to go, but I can give you the right side. Minnesota and Rutgers. And you know what? I'll give you the game tonight. I like that Seattle-Arizona game tonight. So you want to get both games for free. Tonight's Seattle game at Arizona and Minnesota at home against Rutgers. Just be one of the first 5 callers. Call 800-400-9741. First 5 callers, Minnesota and Rutgers on Saturday, and Seattle and Arizona tonight for free. And we are on a roll Sunday and Monday in the NFL. We went 5-0, so look to keep it rolling here. You want to try us out for a weekend? Every single game through Monday night, and we're going to get probably 13 to 15 games. We rate them from 10 to 50 units, normally $197, just $97 with coupon code SAVE100. One place, only one place, ParamountSports.com.
Lee Sterling across South Dakota. Find him at ParamountSports.com for your weekend. Lee, appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks so much.
Lee Sterling on tonight. Call him if you want the game. He'll give you a Seahawks-Cardinals tonight, Thursday Night Football, and the Gophers-Rutgers. He's going to give you 2 picks. First 5 callers, 800-400-9741. So we always want to help you out. If you want to get some free picks from Lee Sterling, 800-400-9741. First 5 callers from this show to Lee Sterling. He'll give you those games for free tonight. Seahawks, Cardinals coming up. Thursday Night Football, and the Gophers taking on Rutgers. Gophers favored by 4.5 there. All right. Rob Kagron's coming in shortly. Hang on. Happy hour is upon us. We're going to shoot it around, get some NFL picks ourselves. A lot to discuss with Rob Kagron, our guest host, with Thursday Happy Hour on tap. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to reference something I heard today. This is something I haven't heard yet. Is sports specialization getting a bad reputation? I would think most of you would say, well, yeah, I mean, you don't need to specialize in a sport. You're going to get burned out. You're going to not like the sport. You're going to have overuse. I had a conversation today, same sports guy, gave me a new perspective. He's saying maybe sports specialization is not that bad when done right. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share. To revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Just the sound of a legendary Brunswick pool table. It's the sound of families about to make memories together. And while this may sound like the hum of a spa, listen closely, and you'll hear backyard fun for years to come. So while Splash City's guarantee of quality sure sounds good, we know quality time sounds even better.
Who wants another burger? Splash City, 1024 West Omaha, across from Connects in Rapid City.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. The Nate Brown Show is on. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Thanks for checking in. Want to be a part of the program? The Barons Wilson text line always there. 605-720-1067. That's the Barons Wilson text line. 605-720-1067. Text the show directly. So we have thought-provoking sports talk, right? We try and do our best. I had a thought-provoking conversation today with a great sports guy. We talked about all sorts of stuff, and one thing we visited here, and I've hit on this show, sports specialization. Sports specialization. The reputation there, the thought behind sports specialization is a negative connotation. So I've been doing this show a while. I talked to various people that have said, from sports medicine docs to other, to coaches, don't specialize in one sport. And I would think that's what you hear a lot out there in the world of sports is don't specialize in one sport because there's various reasons. Burnout. So when you're young, play as many sports as you can. Don't get burned out. Don't get overuse injuries. You're doing the same sport. I had this conversation today with this sports guy, and he's been in the middle of all this. He said it's sports specialization is not great, but he means it's because kids today are specializing in all sports. So he believes this. He doesn't say one sport is bad. He doesn't say that. But yes, one sport year-round, he said, is bad. That's the conversation we had today. So essentially, he didn't say early specialization was the answer. Pick one sport, do that year-round, that's all you do. He pointed out how going from, this example, I got football camp in the morning in the summer. I'm running, I got football camp. Then I go to baseball practice. Then I have an open gym basketball practice that same night. This is what he's saying. He said kids are trying to excel in every sport they're playing, and it's not possible to specialize in every sport you're playing. He's looking at it from a standpoint of if you want to get really good and you have a love for this sport, yes, you got to focus on that sport. You have to, but you better focus on your training, your sports performance, your diet, your whole thing. So he pointed out there's this negative thought out there that specializing in sports, well, that kid specialized. He only picked basketball. He's a basketball player. That doesn't mean that basketball player should play basketball in the winter, then play 90 games in the summer as well. That basketball player can pick basketball. It's fine. What else are you doing to get faster, stronger, and ready for basketball season instead of just playing games nonstop year-round? You following this? So that's something that I learned today. Never stop learning, by the way. Something I learned today. The problem with sports is not maybe that kids are specializing in a sport. The kids are trying to specialize in numerous sports because the coaches in those sports expect a lot. And so the kids are trying to do it all. I gotta really be at this practice and be at this open gym and be at this. I can't miss anything. I'm going to be good in all three sports. I don't know if that's possible unless you're a 1% athlete. What's a 1% athlete? An NFL player. There's a reason the NFL players that always comes out during the draft, hey, all of these draft picks were multi-sport athletes. And so it makes it sound like anybody can be an NFL player. If you play basketball and you're in track and you're in football, anybody can be an NFL player. You should be a multi-sport athlete. It's a misconception because the NFL players are 1%ers. So I'm not going to sit here and advocate that I had the answer today of, yes, you should specialize in a sport. That's the end of the story. It's not the end of the story. If you want to play high school sports and you have fun playing basketball and you have fun playing soccer and you're in track, I think you can do that. But we had this conversation today about can you excel and be excellent in all three? Probably not unless you're an elite athlete. So, and that's the problem is everybody says, be a multi-sport athlete. But they want you to be you should be the best in every sport that you play. You should be the best in every sport that you play, and you better put in the work to be the best. And the kids can't do it. It's too much. Very, very interesting. Specialization has a negative connotation to it. It's because kids are trying to specialize in numerous sports. Good stuff today. Good stuff today. Rob Kegron is on. He's ready to go. Thursday happy hour. We'll start it up, and we're going to go NFL right away. Starting the second hour with Rob Kegron as our guest host. Which 1 and 2 NFL team will be just fine moving forward? I got 3 teams on the list. Which 1 and 2 NFL team will be just fine moving forward? We'll start there with Rob Kegron next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Our locally owned Ace stores are committed to helping our neighbors and our communities. And because we're in the neighborhood, we can deliver almost anything you need. So shop in store or online for whatever your home or yard needs. Choose from top brands like Milwaukee, Steel, Traeger, and Benjamin Moore. Then pick up in-store, curbside, or we'll deliver your order right to your home. Around the block, what you need in stock, with people who know how to help. See acehardware.com for details.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch ticket from the South Dakota Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $50,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. So get down to your local lottery retailer today and welcome to Jurassic Park. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly.
Are you thinking about starting or expanding a business? At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, our dedicated business lending team focuses on understanding our members' unique needs and truly wants to help them succeed. From the loans to get your business off the ground to the accounts to keep it running, we offer unique products with your business's best interest in mind. Learn more at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is a member-owned, not-for-profit.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously And if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in South Dakota, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in South Dakota. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're back. Second hour is here, ready to go. It's called Thursday Happy Hour with our friend Rob Kegron. He's live in studio. He's made it. He's ready. And we're ready for another great sports weekend. His favorite event is the Ryder Cup. It is coming out. I mean, one of his favorite events. And he's going to be up watching that thing tomorrow in his home state of New York. Bethpage Black. I have it on the list here, Rob, on the Nate Brown Show. You know, I give you these topics. I said, hey, here's kind of the bullet point. Everything's planned. Nothing's scripted. So I give you the layout. And the Ryder Cup's, let's see, way down here, like number 7.
I'm not sure that we'll ever get to it by the end of the show. You usually have a number of topics that we never get to on a given night just because we have a great conversation. I'm not sure that we're going to get to the Ryder Cup today. Okay, but I will be watching it at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
At least I mentioned it off the top here. But let's get into something we really care about. It is the NFL. And this is something close to my heart here. So my Denver Broncos are 1-2. The Chiefs are 1-2. The Ravens are 1-2. I'm going through this thing saying, hey, wait, Chiefs and Ravens play this week. The Chiefs or Ravens are going to be 1-3. One of those teams is going to be 1-3. I'm going to start there. That's tough right there. I mean, that's tough to come back from. I'm saying they can do it. You start 1-3, you're in trouble.
Absolutely, Nate. And be fair, if we're being really objective when it comes to these two teams, they both have had difficult schedules out of the gate. I mean, the Chiefs having to go to Brazil and play a division rival, then having to go home and play the Super Bowl champions in a rematch, and the Eagles, obviously they had the layup last week against my Giants, but then having to play Baltimore in week 4, and the Ravens haven't had any cakewalks other than the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Buffalo in game 1, game 3, just this past week, that game that they had against the Lions on Monday night, and now, I mean, these are 4 very difficult games to start a season, so I guess I'm not shocked that one of them is going to be 1-3. I'm shocked that both of them have the opportunity to be 1-3. If that makes sense.
So one of them's going to be 1-3. By the way, my Broncos, they're 1-2. We've played 2 undefeated teams. I mean, Chargers, Colts, they're undefeated, by the way. You may want to check the standings.
Is there a joke? Should there be a rim shot somewhere? They're undefeated
they're undefeated.
After 3 games, we're calling teams undefeated?
The Colts are 3-0.
I mean, that statement, that's not a legitimate statement.
You're telling me the Chargers...
No, they haven't been defeated. You're right.
I'm going to tell you right now. Chargers and Colts, playoff teams, book it. They're 3-0, playoff teams, book it.
Okay, because the Colts play in the worst division in football, and the Chargers...
must be pretty good.
The Chargers are a good team. I'll give you that. But the Colts, I mean, you gifted them that game. Let's be fair.
Okay, so, the refs did, but if we really want to be accurate. We want to be accurate. Let me ask you this question as Rob Kegron joins us, just getting going. NFL teams that are 1-2, there's more, but I put these 3 teams in teams that had playoff aspirations. They had Chiefs, Ravens, probably Super Bowl. Yes, Sparky, Sean Payton, even the Broncos had Super Bowl aspirations. Which 1-2 team will be fine? This is my question to you. Which 1-2 team will be fine? You might say the Chiefs. You might say the Ravens. One of them's going to lose this Sunday, so you might want to say my Broncos. I'm curious.
This is, to me, like when you for anybody who took an ACT or an SAT when they went to college, this to me is like one of those trick questions. Like Nate comes up with this really crafty question, right? Which of these teams, one of two teams is going to be fine? A, Chiefs, B, Ravens, C, Broncos, D, all of the above, E, none of the above. Right? Because
what is your answer on this? You had a hard time with this. You had all day to look at this.
And I did, and I've analyzed it deeply for hours, to be quite honest. I want to say E, none of the above. I don't think any of them are going to be fine in that sense. And I'm going to explain as succinctly as I can. I think of those three teams, if you made me answer which one of them is most likely to be fine, I would say the Baltimore Ravens.
You would?
Yeah, because I think they have the most talent, right? I mean, they played Buffalo in a heck of a game, lost. Shouldn't have lost for sure. They didn't play great on Monday night against the Lions, but it's not as if they got blown out either. And the Lions were kind of due to win one of those big games on the road, in a little bit of fairness. But the Ravens don't have the hardest schedule going forward. And so that's why I think they will, if you ask me which of the three will be fine, I think it's them because their schedule isn't that tough. Now, why I would have said none of the above is I don't trust the Ravens, right? I don't think, we talked before the season, Ravens have a real chance to make the Super Bowl.
I said Super Bowl for the Ravens.
I'm pretty sure you picked them to get to the Super Bowl.
I did. To win the Super Bowl.
That team does not look like a Super Bowl team, right? They have looked flawed throughout the last few years, particularly more in the playoffs than in the regular season. Now they looked truly flawed right now. But I think they will work things out. Their talent, I think, will rise, and I think their schedule isn't that tough. So I think they will be fine. Do I think they're a Super Bowl team? No. So in that sense, I don't think they're fine.
You've already taken them out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little nervous about it. I got to be honest. I was watching Monday night. They were in that thing. Then the Lions just pounded them, tore off some big runs, and then pulled away in the fourth. I'm like, is this Ravens team? Is this just what they are? Are they not going to? I mean, I thought they were elite. Everybody says these guys can win the whole thing. There's a lot of people that said it. I'm a little nervous.
You should be, Nate, because what would really worry me, because I do think their offense will start to hit their cylinders, their defense is not good. I mean, they give up a lot of big chunk plays. I mean, they gave up a ton of points in the fourth quarter to Buffalo a few weeks ago. They gave up plenty of yards and points to the Lions on the road. The Lions, who traditionally play very well indoors on turf, played very well outside in Baltimore in a hostile environment. I'd be very worried about that defense. And you look at the other two teams, Nate. I mean, your team is inherently flawed when it comes to like all of the things that you have to do well to win football games. Penalties. I mean, you must have been. I mean, folks, for those who don't watch on YouTube, he doesn't have a lot of hair left.
No, that's right.
Whatever you had to be pulling it out on Sunday. I mean,
10 penalties. It was ugly. But hang on a second. The Broncos are about 2 plays away from being 3-0. You understand this?
Of course.
Against undefeated teams. You may not think
my
the
gosh,
Chargers
with this undefeated team thing.
2 plays away from being 3-0, and you're throwing them out with yesterday's fish wrap at 1-2. You're throwing them out right now. I can tell. You're just throwing them out.
I think it's easier in football, and you and I may disagree on this. I think it's easier in football to overcome a couple of bad games and, just clunkers than it is to overcome not being a team that can execute well, not being a good mindset team.
A couple of plays that go wrong, like a stupid leverage call, that was a stolen game. And then this last one, they just blew it because Sparky didn't run the ball when he should have. But nonetheless.
But you had a big lead in that Colt game. You surrendered that lead. You had a lead against the Chargers. You have a guy lining up in the neutral zone on a punt. That is poor coaching. I'm sorry. That is on Peyton and on the special teams guy.
Welcome to the club.
That's not poor coaching, Nate.
Yeah, welcome
Nick
to the
Bonito,
club.
what are you doing? Now, it's not as if Nick Bonito is going to block the kick. Let's be fair, right? He's not a gunner on the end who's going to be able to block that kick. You have no business. I really worry about teams that don't do the fundamentals well. I think it's much tougher for them to overcome those weaknesses than a couple of bad games. Knicks has not been good. In fairness, Knicks has been average at best in the first 3 games.
Yeah, not even average. Not even average.
Well, that's why I'd be worried about the Broncos.
But they should have won those games on top of it. So hang on.
I mean, Baltimore should have beat Buffalo too, but they didn't.
I would say the Ravens are going to be fine. So I'm going to answer this question. Ravens are going to be fine. And when I say the Broncos are going to be fine, they will be fine because they'll still make the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say all three of these teams will be fine. All three teams will make the playoffs. Would you agree?
No. I think at least one of them won't.
You're killing the Broncos today.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it were the Chiefs. I mean, I'd probably put the Chiefs and the Broncos neck and neck. I do think the Ravens will make the playoffs. I'll say that. I would actually, even at 1-2, I'd be surprised if the Ravens didn't make the playoffs. I would not be surprised if either the Broncos or the Chiefs missed out on the playoffs.
Listener text coming in, 605-720-1067. Be a part of the conversation. Rob Kegron's in studio. It's always fun to shoot it around with Rob. Listener text, the Chiefs will be fine. That's all it says. The Chiefs will be fine.
I mean, guys, let's be fair. If the Chiefs were to lose this week to Baltimore, and it's entirely possible that they do, I think we'd have to say that, right? Like, at best, it's a toss-up game. I mean, if you watch the Sunday night game against my crappy Giants, the Chiefs were terrible in the first half. If not for my team being so god-awful that I want to poke my eyes out, the Chiefs should have got run out of the building in the first half. They really should have. That's how bad they were in the first half. You can't get away with that against Baltimore. I don't care how poor their defense is. The Chiefs don't score enough points.
Chiefs are 2.5-point underdogs at home this week. 2.5-point underdogs, and you know what happens with the Chiefs as underdogs at home.
You don't. Well, but they were a couple weeks ago against Philly, and they lost the game. Let's be fair.
That's Philly. That's
all right.
Philly.
Baltimore's still a very good team. And remember, if they're 1-3, it's not as if their schedule gets any easier. They do have games against Buffalo and the Lions coming up here pretty soon. I'd be very concerned if I were a Chief fan. Let me say it like this. Chiefs go 1-3, I'll put whatever you want on it. They're not making the playoffs.
1-3, they're out.
They're out of the playoffs.
So they're out.
If they lose this week, they're out. I wouldn't say that about the Ravens.
By the way, the Broncos take on the Bengals, so I feel good there. Chiefs, Ravens this weekend. That is really interesting. That's dicey. Speaking of dicey, Rob's got his quarterback now. Here he is. He's coming to save the day for his New York Giants. We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
this Friday with a Black Hills Conference showdown on Fox Sports Rapid City. The Rapid City Christian Comets vie for their second straight win as the Comets head to the Southern Hills to battle the Hot Springs Bison at Woodward Field. Join Dean Gurin meet Rome Wickersham for all the action, beginning with the pregame show Friday at 5:45, followed by the kickoff at 6. Rapid City Christian beats Hot Springs Friday right here on Fox Sports Rapid City.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Happy hour on The Nate Brown Show with Rob Kegron live in studio. Our NFL picks for Week 4 coming up. We'll get to 4 games and make some picks for entertainment purposes. You know that, especially when Rob's in the studio. It's entertainment purposes. You know that. I just had the hottest of hot takes on the text line tonight. 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line for you. It's specifically for you. Hottest takes of all time. All 3 teams, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and Broncos, will miss the playoffs, he says. All 3. Chiefs, Ravens, Broncos miss the playoffs. You want to play that game? I mean, you want to make a bet on that? That's the hottest take of all takes.
And see, I disagree with you that it's the hottest take of all takes. I don't agree with the statement, but I like to do this in sports, and particularly talking about sports. Which is more likely of those 3 teams you just described, the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Ravens, which is more likely to happen? All 3 make the playoffs or all 3 miss the playoffs?
All 3 make the playoffs.
No, disagree.
All 3 make the playoffs.
I completely agree with the texter. I disagree with you. It is more likely that all 3 miss the playoffs than all 3 make. I think it's highly unlikely that all 3 make the playoffs. Highly unlikely.
You just said you disagree with the texter that they'll all 3 miss the playoffs, and then you spun around 180 and said, I agree with the texter. They could all miss the playoffs.
And because I think that's more likely than all 3 making. Remember, both Broncos and Chiefs have 2 losses, and they have to play each other twice. So somebody's getting more losses. One of those teams is likely to not make the playoffs.
Fair point. So you say the Chiefs need to win, and I know the Broncos have to win Monday night. Let's go to something that'll have a little fun. Maybe we'll spend about 3 minutes on this, and it could be all Rob. But the Giants have made a change at quarterback. It's interesting to me because my guy Russell Wilson continues to get disrespected. And this is a guy who's just threw for 450 yards. If they had any defense, they actually would have won a game by now. They have no offensive line. I mean, these guys are absolutely terrible up front. And I'm watching Russ get chased down right away. And now you're expecting the Giants make the change, and they're going to go to Jackson Dart. So you get your wish. Russ is out. Jackson's Dart is in. And I want to know how you feel today.
Well, first of all, I feel that what you just said is patently ridiculous, Nate. So I'm going to make that abundantly clear.
The offensive line's good?
The offensive
good?
Well, they had Andrew Thomas back on Sunday night. That was not the problem in the game. Scatterbo had plenty of opportunity. He ran the ball very well, caught the ball in the back.
Talking about pass protection.
How many times was he sacked on Sunday night?
There wasn't any. He was running for his life.
Sacked twice.
Because he threw it to the hot dog vendor.
Because he doesn't know how to escape some pressure, step up into the pocket. He's heaving the ball all over the place. For you to say he's been disrespected, you want to make that argument when he was in Denver with your guy?
Yes.
I understand. You made some very valid points a couple of years ago. Obviously, Peyton didn't like him, didn't want him around, benched him even with an opportunity to make the playoffs. I don't think he was disrespected last year in Pittsburgh. I think he started off well and then did not finish the season well.
I agree with that.
For my Giants, he was awful in Week 1. He was all-world in Week 2.
Yeah.
And awful again in Week 3.
This is the Chiefs here. You're not playing Cupcake City.
I'm not saying it's Cupcake City, Nate, but I mean, the guy he barely has like a 52, 53% completion percentage. He's heaving the ball up for no reason. Did you watch the game on Sunday night?
I did.
He just kept throwing the ball down the field, up in the air, and hoping for something to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wish you guys would get open because we used to have guys that could get open. You guys don't have anybody out there.
We have Malik Neighbors. He's a top 10 wide receiver.
Who does nothing. Malik, I watched him Sunday. He does nothing. And then he pouts. So get ready. So Jackson Dart, I'm ready. Chargers, Jesse Minter is their D coordinator, and the Chargers play you guys. Jackson's going to have a tough time.
Yes, I agree. Jackson is going to have a tough time. You drafted him in the first round. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, and I'm not completely opposed, and I wouldn't have been completely opposed to Dart sitting either the majority of the season or the entire season. Worked for Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
Has worked for other guys in the past. Worked even multiple seasons for certain guys. Jordan Love would be another example of that.
But
Aaron Rodgers.
You wanted to see him.
I wanted to see him at some point. I didn't need to see him in Game 4. The problem is this fan base, and I being one of those people, being a being a New York Giants fan my entire life, we are so frustrated. Want to hit ourselves over the head with how bad we've been year in, year out. If Russ would have showed up on Sunday night, even in a tough loss, and played even 75% of the way he played against the Cowboys, I don't think this would have happened. But after 2 losses on the road, a home opener on Sunday night, to a Chiefs team that is not as good as they have been in the past.
I'm not sure. They're pretty good.
It wasn't the defense's fault, Nate. The Giant defense only gave up 22 points.
Yeah,
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
And they played great in the first half, and Wilson could not capitalize. He made some very, very poor decisions. And that's what to me, that's why I go to Dart, right? If you're telling me Wilson maybe loses some games, but because he's such a vet, he makes great decisions. He's not putting his team, not turning the ball over, not giving his team a tougher road.
He's trying to make plays. He's trying to make plays. He's throwing it down the field. Somebody get open. Malik Neighbors gives up on the ball time after time. By the way, can you guys figure out how to have a good offense sometime? Because Daniel Jones, you threw him out, and now he's all world with the Colts. And you bring in anybody, and they can't. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good offense.
I agree with you. I do think we need a couple of more playmakers, although I like Scatterboo, and I think he will be a very good running back. You need more than Malik Neighbors. You need a real tight end. I do think you probably need another piece or two on the offensive line. I don't disagree with what you're saying. But what I saw on Sunday night was you and me as 10-year-olds on the street. Hey, Nate, just go. I'll just throw it up there and hope that something good happens. That's what was happening. That's what was happening. To be fair,
a couple of times.
It's like, Nate, just go. I'll throw it up, and hopefully you catch besides and the other guy won't. Couple of
times. And the fans were hard on him. I mean, you New York fans, I don't know what you expect. Russell Wilson, who's below where he was, to come in and save this bad offensive team, and this is this might be one of the worst offensive teams in the league.
I don't think that's what they expected. I think they expected him to keep them in the game, to not make bad decisions. You're the quarterback, find Neighbors, right? Neighbors should be your number one target. And if you can't get Neighbors open because they're double teaming him, somebody else got to be open, Russ. Yeah. Find that guy.
That was Slayton, and boy, he's something too. But I'm looking at this team. Jackson Dart's got his hands full, and it's the Chargers. This is going to be a tough game, but get ready. We'll be back next week. And if Jackson Dart comes out flying, I mean, you are going to be something.
Oh, it's going to be 15 minutes of me hooting and hollering.
High expectations for Jackson as the franchise QB.
I have high expectations over the course of the rest of the season. I'm not coming and going into Sunday like he's going to win us a game. The Chargers are a very good, if we're being completely honest, Chargers could go to the Super Bowl. That's how good they are.
Come on.
First of all, they're very well coached.
Let's not go too far on the Chargers.
They could go to the Super Bowl.
They're 3-0. I call them undefeated, but they're just 3-0. By the way, coming right back, I want to go to this baseball debate. Rob Tegron's a baseball guy. One of his guys in New York, he's not a Yankees fan, but I wonder if this guy should be the MVP or not. It's a great baseball debate. As the postseason nears, we'll discuss who would you vote for MVP coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the winter time, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
First opened their doors in Rapid City 140 years ago, they have continued to make personal service their number one priority. In your time of grief, they offer a personal touch by being at your side through every step of the funeral process. They answer difficult questions and guide you toward other professional services you may need. See for yourself the wide variety of services they can provide for you by visiting their website at baronswilson.com.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Hey, thanks for spending your drive home with us on Fox Sports Radio at South Dakota Sports Talk Show every weekday afternoon. We got you covered on The Nate Brown Show with Rob Kegron in on Thursdays. It's Thursday Happy Hour with our guest host, Rob Kegron. All right, baseball's been interesting, huh? I mean, 162 games. I said this last night. Is there a sports fan that thinks the baseball season is just the right length? I mean, do we have the right length? I mean, we've been playing this thing since March. I wish we had just a little shorter.
Yeah, I actually don't agree with you. I wouldn't mind if it were shorter, but I think it's fine the way it is. You know, it carries you through all through the summer, and so you'd probably say, well, just start it later, I guess, would be your point. And I think there's a fair point to be made there, but I like the fact that once I get to the beginning of April, and yeah, you have obviously basketball playoffs and hockey playoffs, but I like the fact that I get into this routine that it's starting to feel like spring, and that's not always the case here in the Black Hills of South Dakota or even in the east side of South Dakota. I certainly understand that. But I get into this mode of spring, of things starting to change, things starting to feel new. And I like the fact that I can put on a baseball game in the background every single night for 6 months.
162 games. I could shorten this up. I mean, half the country sitting here going, well, baseball's still going, and now it's the real deal. Now I get excited. My Cubbies are in this thing. So when you have a team in the postseason, you get engaged with it. I just thought we could shorten it up just a touch, but I guess guys like you want to keep this 162 marathon going.
How much would you reduce it by? 8 games, go back to 154? Because there is a history of 154, so I could certainly understand
go less than that. I'd love a sense of urgency. I mean, there's no sense of urgency in any games at all. I mean, you can lose a game and nobody cares, and then it comes down to this week, and now all of a sudden the Tigers and the Guardians are battling it out when all they needed to do was win like 3 other games in the middle of May.
Yeah, but I do think over the course of a season, the cream really rises. Like, you could get on a run in some of the other sports, and because they're shorter seasons, there's a run either way. Like, you could lose a few games and you can't catch up. Like, you can withstand a 6-game losing streak in baseball and just have a bad week, and then you come back and your cream does rise to the top, I should say, by the end of another month. So I kind of I would go to 154. I'd be fine with that.
But
I think you want to go to like 100.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
I do.
No, I think that's crazy. Plus, I think baseball is the most historical of all of the 4 major sports, and a lot of those records are attached to, at the very least, 154 games.
For sure. I mean, the history of it, that whole thing, they're never going to change it because the owners are making bank.
Of course. And the only stats that matter in sports are baseball stats. You can't name me a stat in basketball, hockey, or football, but you can tell me who has the most home runs. You can tell me who hit 61 home runs. You can tell me who hit 406 in a baseball season. Those are things that still matter to a real sports fan, and they don't matter in the other sports.
162 games. Speaking of stats, who would get your vote for AL MVP? That's the debate this week, and it's a good one because Cal Raleigh at the Mariners, just out of nowhere, this catcher, switch hitting catcher. So he's got the most home runs ever for a switch hitter catcher. 60. He's up to 60. I was getting listener text on the app. I opened the app when I got in here today. There was listener text from last night watching Cal Raleigh hit 59, and then he got 60 later against the Rockies. Cal Raleigh has 60 homers, second in RBI, 125. That's major league leading now. 60 homers, second in RBI. Aaron Judge leads in almost all categories when it comes to hitting. Average, he's still got 51 home runs, wins above replacement. I mean, he's got all these metrics and these baseball stats. So Aaron Judge, people would say, this is the best hitter overall. Would he get your vote for AL MVP? Those two guys, it's a debate.
It's a good debate, and particularly because how well Aaron Judge is hitting for average. I think he's at like 328. Did you already say that, or did I miss that?
Yeah, 328.
He's hitting 328, right? Now, if I'm going to say he's hitting 328, the other thing we have to mention is baseball. I have just no better way to say this. Baseball nerds, these general managers and all these guys in these offices who, have gone by way of the analytics off the deep end. They don't care about average anymore, right? So nobody should even be paying attention because you just mentioned WAR, right? WAR is the biggest thing now, wins above replacement. Judge is a great hitter. He's the best hitter in baseball, other than Ohtani, I would say. I think Ohtani's slightly better than Judge. But you asked me who's the MVP, and to me, the MVP is Cal Raleigh, and it shouldn't even be close. Judge is a distant second. Why? The guy has caught 120 games.
Yes.
Last year, he was a Gold Glove. He's going to get it again. Last year, not only was he the Gold Glove, he was the Platinum Glove. And most people wouldn't know what that is. He was the best defender in baseball. Any position, right? That's how good of a defender he is. The catching position is still very important. Calling a game, handling a staff, really night in, night out, and just the physical toll it takes on his body.
Yes.
I know he's DH'd like 35 times. I don't think he's missed many games. I think he might have missed 2 games all season.
Yeah, I think he's played. They're going to say he's going to play in like 159.
Right. So the guy's going to miss 3 games all season. He's going to catch like 122, 123 of those games, handle a staff, get his team, and a good staff, get his team to the playoffs. I'm not knocking Judge. Judge is, like I just said, he is a heck of a talent. I love watching him hit. Cal Raleigh is the most valuable player by far.
I would say that. I'm surprised a lot of the baseball guys are going Aaron Judge. Is this just the baseball? Oh, the stat. It's Judge leads in this, and this, and this. Cal Raleigh leads in homers. His average not good. RBI. But they're overlooking the catching side of this. They're overlooking the baseball player. And by the way, MVP is, I think, still the best player, but it's also most valuable. Mariners are going to win the division, for the first time since 2001?
Absolutely.
That's why. 60 homers for a catcher? Switch hitting a record?
It's unbelievable what he's doing. And I think you hit it, Nate. Like, the media and the baseball community in general focuses on all of these goofy stats, OPS and WAR and whatever, WAR plus and all of these other things, which I'm not saying they're not important and they don't paint a picture. They certainly do. But what does Cal Raleigh mean to the Seattle Mariners?
Yes.
They would be nothing without him. Forget the 60 home runs and the 120-something RBIs. He is a catcher who's getting those so much. That pitching staff is very good, and if you don't think that has anything to do with Cal Raleigh, you're nuts.
I'm 100% agreeing, but I'm surprised that the baseball community, it sounds like they're going to go Aaron Judge when Cal Raleigh's had a historic season. Aaron Judge is fine. By the way, 51 homers for Judge. He is now in that category of a guy who has had, 4 years of 50 homers or more? That's a small category.
Absolutely. He's an all-timer. I mean, watching him hit the ball, again, because he also hits for average, right? Like, the one knock on Raleigh is that, he's hit 60 home runs, but he can't even hit 250. I mean, Judge is hitting 328 with hitting all of these home runs. Judge is incredible to watch, and he's a pretty good fielder, too. But Raleigh, to me, is so much better. And the thing about Judge, Nate, and this is not the point of this conversation, Judge now needs to show it in the playoffs.
I know.
Your point is really good. Yeah, he's hit 50 home runs 4 different times. What has he ever done in a playoff game?
Nothing.
And he gets a chance every single year.
Yeah, he's done nothing in the playoffs. He gets tight in the playoffs. Coming right back, our NFL picks. Rob Kegron in studio. It's Happy Hour on the Nate Brown Show. 4 games. We'll make our picks. Vikings, Chiefs, Broncos, Packers on the list coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the winter time, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Anderson Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
ain't got it.
I told him we needed replacement windows for our house.
I am man!
I told him rather than go to a do-it-yourself store, we should contact Renewal by Andersen because they only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors.
Hey, honey, did you know our electricity runs through all these little metal pipes? And yow!
You okay?
Yeah.
Renewal by Andersen, hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional, perfect fit.
The hole needs to be just a little larger.
Keeping your home warm in the winter, cool in the summer with their Fibrex windows.
I had no idea we had this much insulation in our walls. Honey?
Yeah?
I think it's time we call Renewal by Andersen.
Good call, Mr. Fix-It.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota. 605-341-7831.
Live from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Details Studio. Sales, service, and recreation. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Rob Kegron's in studio every Thursday. Happy hour with Rob Kegron on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We always take a look at our NFL picks, so let's do it. I knocked this out last week, and I got to say, I don't think Rob knocked it out last week. Did you take the Vikings to lose? Did you say the Vikings would lose last week? I couldn't remember on that.
Why are we dwelling on the past, Nate? Yes, I absolutely did, folks. I absolutely did. I did. If to say that I was wrong on that would be an understatement. I'm a fool, a buffoon, a dummy, a dope, whatever you want to call me. I got that game completely wrong.
Okay, let's give you a chance to redeem yourself, as in Dumb and Dumber, okay? Fully redeem yourself. Vikings-Steelers, our first game on the docket. It's overseas, 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time start. Vikings by 2.5. Are they overvaluing their win over the Bengals, where it was all defense? Really, Carson Wentz just didn't make any dumb plays, I guess. They overvaluing the Vikings here, 2.5?
You know, this game obviously is going to be played in Dublin, Ireland. I actually think, Nate, that most of these international series games, they don't really have any home team. I know the Vikings are the home team. There's just so many different fans from all over the place.
No advantage there, right? No advantage.
I think if there is an advantage in this game, it'll probably go to Pittsburgh. I think that fan base will travel more to a place like Ireland than Minnesota would. I don't think any kind of real advantage, though. I think they may be overvaluing the Vikings win last week, but what I don't like is what I've seen from Pittsburgh, right? They did not play well in that game against Seattle. And the only reason they beat New England was New England had 5 awful turnovers. I watched that game because I bet Pittsburgh, and I felt like I was very lucky to win that game against New England. Pittsburgh did not look good in the game at all. I think their defense has taken a step back. I don't think Rodgers has done a whole lot in the first 3 games. And while I don't trust Wentz or the Vikings, and I've never been a fan, as you know, if it's under a field goal, and I think the Vikings defense can mess up Rodgers and the Steelers, for that reason alone, I'll lay the 2.5 and take the Vikings.
Very stunning.
Maybe I'll jinx the Viking fan.
That's stunning because I'm leaning the other way.
Wow! For the first time, I'm actually trying to come over to the dark side and take the Vikings with you.
I don't know what happened, but you're going to go Vikings, so maybe this is a sign. You're going Vikings 2.5. I'm leaning the other way because I am a little worried. Everybody said, Carson Wentz, look at, he's good. They're even debating of giving Carson Wentz the job here. Steelers and Aaron Rodgers going to be a little better than people think. I think the Steelers, I'm going to take the 2.5. I think the Steelers might win.
Wow, leave it to me. I bet against the Vikings like 10 weeks in a row. I'll finally take them this week and they'll lose.
I took the Vikings last week and actually won money at BetMGM Sportsbook. Tin Lizzy, our headquarters. So I'll take that. I'm going to go Steelers. Here it is, Chiefs-Ravens. Chiefs underdogs at home. I'm going to start with this. Give me the Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Minus 2.5. I'm going to under a field goal. Ravens are better. I can't believe the Chiefs are going to be 1-3. They are. They're not full strength. Rashee Rice, they're just not great. The Ravens are going to bounce back. They need to. They will. Ravens minus 2.5.
I completely agree with you, Nate. I am not a believer in the Chiefs right now. I get that they beat my Giants on the road. My Giants are not a good team. The Chiefs first, if the Chiefs perform against the Ravens in the first half the way they performed against the Giants, they'll be down 3 touchdowns by halftime. That's how bad they were in that first half. And I think they'll be a little bit better, but I think the Ravens are due for a big game. I just don't think that kind of talent can be that bad that many weeks in a row. I don't think this is a blowout by any means, but I think, to me, the Ravens aren't scoring less than 28. I just don't see it. So, I think you're like 28 or 30 to 21. 24, something like that. Chiefs will be okay. I like the Ravens. I agree with you.
We're going Ravens. Rob's going Vikings. That's stunning to start. Now Sunday night. Now the Packers are going to beat the Cowboys. Packers just got beat by the Browns. That was a fluke. That was a bad game. Yeah, the hat rack Joe Flacco was back there doing nothing, and somehow Jordan Love gave that game away. So he gave it away. Packers will beat the Cowboys in Dallas. Can they beat them by 6.5? Can they beat them by 7?
Big spread. Very big spread, particularly on the road. I am not a big fan, as someone who does like to gamble a bit, not a big fan of giving up 6.5 on the road. I would be concerned if I were a Packer fan right now. You had no business losing that game. I know you're going to lose a game here or there, but that was a Jordan Love loss. That's strictly on his shoulders. What a terrible decision he made at the end of the game, because there was no way, if Cleveland got the ball backed up, there was no way they were scoring a touchdown there, and you handed them that opportunity. I'm not sure who wins this game. Won't be shocked if Green Bay won. But I'm taking the 6.5.
What?
And I'm sprinkling a little on the Cowboy money line.
No. Don't
just sprinkle, folks.
Don't sprinkle anything, please. Packers minus 6.5. Cowboys defense. Have you seen them?
You're laying 6.5 on the road with Jordan Love?
Yes. Last game, Monday Night Football. Before we go, 2 minutes. Can we say the Broncos need this? 7.5-point favorites at Mile High Monday night over the Bengals.
We said it off the air. We didn't say it on the air, Nate. This, if you're a Bronco fan, this is the definition of a must-win.
You have to.
You are not making the playoffs if you go 1-3, losing at home to Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals. I know T. Higgins, and I know Jamar Chase, and I get Chase Brown, and I get it. You cannot lose a home game on Monday night to a backup quarterback in the Cincinnati Bengals.
7.5, though.
The Denver Broncos have no business being favored by 7.5 against any team in the National Football League. Take the 7.5 points, but take the Bengals.
Okay.
7.5. Do not take them on the money line. No sprinkle here at all, folks.
No sprinkle. So Broncos win. We agree, and I'm going to tend to line up with you because I think that number is high. I could see the Broncos tear them up. I could see the Broncos come out, full tilt here finally. But put it all together, offense, defense. This isn't going to be like a Vikings thing. Usually when you have a bad game like the Bengals did, they play better the next week too. That's why I'm saying Broncos win, but plus 7.5 with the Bengals. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
Played so bad that they're going to go, hey, that was a fluke. We need to get back to it. Broncos win. I'm going to go Bengals plus 7.5. Last thing, Ryder Cup tomorrow morning. Is this what everybody's interested in, or just you and Larry out there?
Me and Larry are completely into it. Whoever Larry is, come to my house at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. I'll have coffee ready to go, and maybe even a Bloody Mary.
You're watching at 5 a.m.?
Oh, I'll be up.
5 a.m.?
If I'm not awake, I will have a backup alarm set up. I am absolutely watching the first tee at 5 a.m. This happens about 10 minutes from where I grew up, too. Bethpage, Long Island, right? So I am kind of into it more, plus I'm a huge golfer. Do I think people will be into it over the course of the weekend? The casual fan, a little. If there's a lot of drama on Sunday, I think maybe you turn it on late in the afternoon after the early games. I don't think everybody's talking about it. I think this is more of a niche kind of thing. But I'll tell you this, it's incredibly compelling.
5 a.m. bells for Rob Tegron. It's Nate Brown. The Nate Brown Show podcast going up right now. See ya.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors.